sitting in the car and I hear this voice so audible. And I'm looking around. There's nobody in the car. My daughter's asleep in the back seat. Him, as in God, say, "You're pregnant, pregnant. Not with ideas and purpose, but pregnant." I'm like, okay, I've absolutely lost my mind at this point. It couldn't have been me. I don't know who that was.
Hey, here we are with another episode of No Receipts Equals No Intimate Relationship. I am Destiny Thomas, also known as the Prayerpist, and that is because I conduct online one-on-one sessions for kingdom entrepreneurs, the strong friend, and leaders to assist them with strengthening their relationship with God, specifically through their prayer life. But as promised, on this episode, you will not be hearing from me. You will be hearing from Miss Cierra Love-Holt. She'll be sharing her amazing receipt that she has for God that really strengthened her relationship with him and made it way more intimate than what it was. So without further ado, Cierra, where are you, girl?
Hey. Thanks for
Hey,
having me, Destiny. I'm so
thanks for
excited to be
taking
here.
time to be a part of this. I really appreciate it. So now I'm going to let you take over. Just go ahead and share your story with us.
All right. Well, thank you again. So I don't know where to start because it's been about a 2-year journey since I have really gotten in a new relationship with God, if you will. And the receipts that I have really been more of like a chain reaction, not chain reaction, but like one piled on top of another. And together they have increased my faith, increased our intimacy, and my excitement for our relationship with every receipt. So the very first one that really kicked off the trust and faith between the two of us was back in 2018. I just started journal praying and really dedicating my time and my thoughts, my heart, everything in me to my relationship with God. And at the time, my marriage was, I'm not gonna say in shambles, but it was definitely not an ideal place. We were definitely closer to divorce than we were of being a family unit. Um, so we were going through about a year of trying to figure those things out. And within the first couple months of me being deliberate and giving my time and attention to God the way that I really have always wanted to, I just didn't know how, and I didn't know that I wasn't doing it, to be quite honest. But within those first 2 months, God worked miracle. He brought my husband back into our home, and it was so unexpected that next thing you know, surprise, we were pregnant. And at that time, we hadn't even decided that we were going to get back together and work on our marriage. It was really just we knew how attached our toddler was. So our toddler was our saving grace. Ever since she was a baby, she had to have both mommy and daddy at all times. So the separation was really, really hard on her. And she was only about 2. So that brought us back together in the natural. That brought us back together. But what was really going on was in my journal praying, God was working on both my husband and I. He was wanting us both to have this relationship with him that he desired for us. And it was from this first receipt of telling me that I'm pregnant after my husband and I, like I said, hadn't been together for almost a year. And after being together one time, we were pregnant and not even sure of where our marriage was going. So not only did we find out we were pregnant, we figured there was like absolutely no way. We had taken all precautions. I had taken birth control. I was going, as a matter of fact, to the doctor to make sure that I wouldn't have any more babies. I would also, thank you. He also was supposed to be making an appointment so that we wouldn't have any more babies unplanned and unprepared for. And I remember specifically one day I was supposed to be traveling out of town. I was going to see a friend of mine in Ohio, and I just kept getting a weird feeling like I really didn't feel like going anymore. And I had been looking forward to this trip because that's what I do. I travel. I used to before having children, but I would travel at the drop of a hat anytime. So I felt for some reason I didn't really want to go on this trip. And the day came, the morning came, I was supposed to drive to Atlanta to catch my flight, and I threw up. And I was just like, I never get sick. What is wrong? Like, so first of all, I want my money back for my flight. So we're gonna go to urgent care. I'm gonna get this money back for my flight. They told me I had stomach virus. Cool, great. I get back home and I'm sitting in the car and I hear this voice so audible. And I'm looking around. There's nobody in the car. My daughter's asleep in the back seat. Him, as in God, say, "You're pregnant, pregnant. Not with ideas and purpose, but pregnant." I'm like, okay, I've absolutely lost my mind at this point. It couldn't have been me. I don't know who that was. But I go in the house. I'm like, okay, sure. Next day, I have my one-on-one prayer brief session with Destiny. And of all things, the nerve of this man to confirm it, my privacy, my private little detail, the conversation with her. I mean, she my friend, but like nobody was ready for this information, right? So he confirms it, and we're both like in shock. I eventually told my husband, and the funny thing is, when Holy Spirit revealed it to me, there was no other signs. It was too soon to take a pregnancy test. And he told me to wait 21 days and then the rest will be revealed. So when you want to talk about trusting him, this was that first test. This was that first opportunity that I really had to trust him. This is my first opportunity that I had to really see who he was, how he operated, his love for me, his love for our marriage, his love for my husband. I got to see a whole new God that I never learned about in church. I never learned about growing up. I learned relationship versus religion instantaneously in this moment because this was absurd, right? Like taking every precaution not to get pregnant. He tells me I'm pregnant. Okay. So I called to get my doctor's appointment. They couldn't get me in for a couple weeks. So even furthermore, okay, so now we're not gonna have any proof until then. My cycle came on as it would normally, but God has told me I'm pregnant. So which one is it? You know? So everyone's like on pins and needles. Everyone who knows about this is on pins and needles, like, okay, well, you're probably not. And I'm just like, well, I'm not going to question him. I'm not going to test him. I'm not going to just, throw it out the window because if he said it, it's true. So that was just example one, receipt number one. I will say fast forward, it took about 6 weeks for the doctors to even confirm that I was actually pregnant. Came back 6 tests later. All 6 of them had said that I was not pregnant. Five tests said that I was not pregnant. The sixth one said that I was. Craziness. So that brought our family back together. And I will say, fast forward a year later, our family is unrecognizable compared to where we were before that. And that is 100% a receipt from God, of God's grace, of God's love, his mercy, his faith and loyalty to us. And when he says that he's going to do something, it's proof that he will in fact do it. And in the midst of just bringing another life into our family, to bring us closer together and to really unite us, it also gave us the opportunity to love God even more as a family. It allowed us to show our children who God is, and so that they can develop that relationship with Him as well. And throughout this time, there's been so many more receipts. Right after he told me I was pregnant, he called me out of my licensed certified professional career, and where I was making six figures a month. Sorry, I wish. That's coming, but not in that career, because he could pull me out of it. So he pulled me out of my career to begin writing a book that chronicled my whole experience, in my relationship with him, and the redirection, the trust, the obedience, the ups and downs, and really to chronicle the growth in our relationship and our intimacy, so that others who read it can also know that he wants the same thing for them, which I think is really awesome. So when he did that, when he took me out of my career to write this book, once again, that's absolutely crazy. I can't live off of no money, right? But because he had also he made our family brand new, we were able to handle this in a different way. My husband was very supportive, and he also knew that growing up, I always wanted to be an author. So God used that as proof, like, I gave you this gift. I want you to live this out. There's a reason why I put that gift in you. You have a passion for it, and I have a passion for you to get my word out, to get my message out, to share the experience and the journey that you're going through. So when he did that, he put the words in my mouth, and I put it on paper. He put the words in my mind and in my heart, and I wrote it in paper, and it produced this amazing book called Rerouting. And that was the second receipt in this journey. Um, all stemmed from that very first receipt. It all stemmed from the miracle baby, the reuniting and renewing of our marriage, the pulling me out of my career and still having my husband to support me. Even though I'm carrying a baby and now don't have that income, we still trusted God. And so, where it started with just the relationship that I was building, it ended up being a relationship that my husband was building, and then we were able to build on together, so that we were able to have that tighter marriage that was really truly centered on God and our relationship with Him. Our relationship, for me, relied heavily on that intimacy of every day spending time with Him, every day greeting Him, being grateful, showing my gratitude and thanking Him every day, asking Him, hey, now that I've completely given my life over to you, I've completely given you control over every area of my life. What do you want me to do with what you've given me? This is your baby that I'm carrying. This is your marriage that we are, stewarding over. This is your book. This is your business. All of these things that you gave me, you've trusted me with those, and now I want to do my due diligence in this relationship and do it together. I want to follow your lead, and it was only by the trust um, that he was able to build in me from the beginning that led me to be able to trust him without jobs, without work. My husband being in pain from being in the military, us dealing with still reconciling our marriage and trying to build it up, in a way that it had never been before, all with a newborn and a move. There was a lot going on, but we trusted him, and our relationship only grew from there. Any other receipts? There's a million in between, in the 2 years, but those are the biggest ones. And now we're waiting for the next receipt, which is God told us that He told us to move to Atlanta, which we've done. He told us that we'd be building our house, but He also told us that He'd be giving us a house. I say this out loud and it sounds crazy, but that's what He told us. And I know at this point that My God does not lie. My Father loves me. He loves my family. He loves my husband. And He will not tell us something that was not going to be true. And I know that He wants the best for us. And these are the things that you only learn through that relationship and through that intimate time. So that's where we are now. We're just waiting to see what's next. But in the meantime, continuing to build our relationship and build that trust, because every time with every new receipt, I feel like there's a new level of trust gained, there's a new level of intimacy, there's a new level of relationship that you reach. It's one thing to be a daughter of the king, but then when you become his friend, and then when you become um his most favorite, I feel like those are levels that you learn, and you, I don't want to say achieve, but those are levels that you kind of move into as you get closer and you get more intimate. I'm truly grateful, and I get so excited when I see other people to be in the same journey.
Thank you so much, Cierra, for sharing your receipts that you have for God that really have helped you build a more intimate relationship with Him and just grow your faith and your trust in Him. So, Cierra, you talked about your book in your testimony that you share with us. Can you go ahead and tell us what else it is that you do and where they can find you and all of that good?
Absolutely. So yes, as I said, I am the author of the book Rerouting Your GPS Never. It is available on my website. That is sierrainloveholt.com, where you can also find out more about the other services that I offer. The main thing that I offer, which is right in alignment with what I said about God pulling me out of my career in order to truly live in my passion. He is so amazing and so brilliant that he married three of my passions together, which were writing, traveling, and sisterhood. I really enjoy um, the relationship that comes from other women trying to lift each other up and encouraging each other, because there's really not a lot of that. And especially in entrepreneurship, especially where there's creatives, I think it's so important. Not even I think, but I know he's, hammered this into me as well. But taking care of ourselves so that we are always um, full and ready to pour out our blessings, our gifts, our skills, our passions onto other people is so important. So, with those three things together, I've created the Black Scribe Tribe, which is a luxury retreat community, wellness and work retreat community for writers and creatives of color, are writers, bloggers, content creators, photographers. If you're a wordsmith or a creator, um, then this community is for you. And you can find out more about this community also on my website. It's sierrainloveholt.com/scribe tribe. And that's where you can find my book, Rerouting. And you can find out more about my community, the Black Scribe Tribe. And come on and join us if that sounds like something that you are interested in and is fitting for what you do. Oh, and also you can find me on Instagram at Sierra_Love-Holt. Super simple, same name everywhere.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Cierra, for taking time out to share with my audience the importance of having receipts for God and how it just ignites your fire and builds your trust and your faith in Him. But ultimately, it builds a more intimate relationship with Him where you touched it, you see different sides of God, right? It's amazing to look at God as your savior, but when you see Him as a friend, when you see Him as a father, it just does something different to you,
Oh
especially
yeah,
in a society where we may have not had the best examples of what a father should be. So I
100%.
just truly want to thank you for your time. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in yet again to another episode of No Receipts Equals No Intimate Relationship. And until next time, thank you.
Good morning to all of you. I just wanted to come here and let you know about Destiny Thomas, okay? When I tell you that the hand of God is on her life and what God has called her to do is so different, so authentic, and there's so much anointing on it. I promise you, you need to get a one-to-one session with her. Look her up, Destiny Thomas, Realizing Destiny. The Prayerpist. I have never in my life heard of anything like this, and I'm glad that I was introduced to her. The words, just the whole session in itself was amazing from beginning to end. She is so down to earth, she is loving, and she wants nothing but the best for you and whatever God has for you. So look up Destiny Thomas, Realizing Destiny, and literally your life is going to change because you will get answers. All right, look up Destiny Thomas.